Let us understand contribution of agriculture to the national economy, to the employment and output. All right, how much output do we get? How much employment is present in agriculture? How much has agriculture contributed in actually developing the nation or a country? All right. Now, agriculture has been the backbone of the Indian economy. Though its share in the gross domestic product (GDP) has been registered as a declining trend from 1951 onwards, so we find that the GDP is declining. In 2010-11, that is 2010-11, 52% of the total workforce was employed by the farm sector, which makes more than half of the Indian population dependent on agriculture for sustenance. The declining share of agriculture in the GDP is a matter of serious concern because any decline or stagnation in agriculture will lead to decline in other spheres of the economy, and it will have a wider impact on our society. So, in order to help the agriculture sector and its implication on the society, Government of India made concentrated efforts to modernize agriculture. What were the steps taken by the government to modernize the agriculture? Were establishment of Indian Council of Agricultural Research (ICAR), agricultural universities, veterinary services and animal breeding centers, horticulture development, research and development in the field of meteorology and weather forecast were given priority for improving the Indian agriculture. Improving the rural infrastructure was also considered essential for the same. So, what are the efforts which have been taken by the government to modernize agriculture? So, they have established ICAR, agricultural universities, veterinary services and animal breeding centers, horticulture development of fruits and vegetables, research and development in the field of meteorology and weather forecast so that exact accurate information is given to the farmers, okay, for improving Indian agriculture. What steps they can take if rainfall is going to be less or more is the information which can be provided by the meteorology department and by the weather forecast people, correct? Then veterinary services and animal breeding centers for the animals which are present on the farms, correct? And various agricultural universities provide them information about variety of crops which can be developed with the help of chemical fertilizers or with the help of natural fertilizers. So these are the steps taken by the Indian government. Along with this, they have improved the rural infrastructure, providing schools, hospitals, correct, providing them banks, various facilities, essential services for improving the rural infrastructure. So this was also one of the important steps taken by the government, providing them bank account to each and every farmer. This was also an important step taken by the Indian government. GDP growth rate is increasing over the years as there are steps which are taken by the government, but it is not generating sufficient employment opportunities in the country. Indian farmers are facing a big challenge from the international competition and reduction in the public investment in agricultural sector. There's a big challenge from the international competition as in the international market, in the European market, farmers are getting subsidies while Indian farmers, the subsidies have been reduced. All right, reduction in the public investment in agricultural sector. Government is not investing in the agricultural sector. It is not a direct investment that the government makes in an agricultural sector. It will be development of dams, for example. So if dams will be developed by the public sector, by the government, not by the private sector. So if they are not going to construct dams, farmers are going to face a challenge during the summer time. Okay. Secondly, development of highways or roadways from the rural sector to the urbanized area. So if they do not have a proper highway, proper channel, proper road, then the produce cannot be brought up over here in the urbanized area. So again, it is a challenge for the farmers. Providing them proper schools, hospitals. So yes, it is a public investment which is done by the government. So they have stopped the public investment. Subsidy on fertilizers is decreased, leading to increase in the cost of production. Okay. Previously, fertilizers were given to the farmers by the government. So definitely cost which the farmers were going to quote on the produce will be less, as they are not going to incorporate the cost of fertilizer. Now they themselves have to pay from their pocket. So definitely the produce which they are going to have on their farm, when they are going to sell it in the market, so it will be a bit costly, as they are going to add in the money of fertilizer in it as the cost price. All right. Reduction in import duties on agricultural products. Now if the produce from a European market, from a European farmer is coming to India, and if the import duty in India is less, then the produce which is brought in our country will be cheaper as compared to the produce which is present in our country, produced by our farmers. So again, the Indian farmer is going to face a problem. Are you understanding my point? So farmers are withdrawing their investment from agriculture. They are not investing more in the agriculture. Whatever investment they have, they are continuing with that, causing a downfall in the employment in agriculture. Therefore, there is no employment which is generated in agriculture. So even though GDP is growing, there is no employment in the agricultural sector. Let's find out what is the impact of globalization on agriculture. We know that globalization is not a new phenomenon, correct? It was there at the time of colonization. In 19th century, when Europeans came to India for spices, farmers of South India were encouraged to grow spices. Even today, it is an important export item. Cotton Belts of India attracted the British, exported cotton to Britain as a raw material for their textile industries. Textile industry in Manchester and Liverpool flourished due to good cotton from India. Champaran movement, which started in 1917 in Bihar, it was started because farmers of that region were forced to grow indigo on their land because it was necessary for the textile industries which were located in Britain. Indian farmers were unable to grow food grains to sustain their families. Now, these were the globalization trends, or this is what happened when globalization took place before independence, during the colonization period. Now let us see globalization after 1990. Which are the new challenges to which these farmers are getting exposed? All right. So despite they are important producers of rice, cotton, rubber, tea, coffee, jute, and spices, our agricultural products are not able to compete with the developed countries because of the highly subsidized agriculture in those countries. These subsidies in developed countries affect the developing countries? Well, if subsidies are given to boost production, that is, industries or farmers are receiving subsidized electricity on their farm. Okay, if they are receiving subsidized seeds, so then they can invest more in production because their money is not getting utilized to pay electricity bill or for purchasing seeds. It is taken care by the government. So this helps increase the overall growth of that economy. Okay, subsidies to consumers enable the consumers to consume more. If something is given to me at a subsidized rate, I'm going to consume it more. Correct. So government intervention through these agricultural subsidies interferes with the price mechanism, which would normally determine the commodity price, so often creating crop overproduction and market discrimination. So subsidies are also an inefficient use of the taxpayers money. So therefore subsidies should not be given by the developed nations. It creates a problem for the developing countries. To make agriculture successful and profitable, proper thrust should be given to the improvement of the condition of marginal and small farmers. Green Revolution did promise, but today it is under controversy for land degradation, vanishing biodiversity, and aquifers. It is being alleged that it has caused land degradation due to overuse of chemicals, drying aquifers, and vanishing biodiversity. The key word today is gene revolution, which includes genetic engineering. This gene revolution is the application of biotechnology in food production. It provides farmers with disease free planting material and develops crops that resist pests and diseases, reducing use of chemicals that harm the environment and human health. Organic farming is also much talked about today because it is practiced without factory made chemicals such as fertilizers and pesticides. Hence, it does not affect environment in a negative manner. Most of the economists think that Indian farmers have a bleak future. Why is their thinking in such a manner? India's rural population is about 833 million. This was in 2011, which depends upon 250 million approximately hectares of agriculture land, an average of less than half a hectare per person. Indian farmers should diversify their cropping pattern from cereals to high value crops. This will increase their income and reduce environmental degradation simultaneously. Fruits, medicinal herbs, flowers, vegetables, biodiesel crops like jatropha and jojoba or jojoba as it is said need much less irrigation than rice or sugarcane. So we should diversify our crops and we should grow biodiesel crops too. India's diverse climate can be harnessed to grow a wide range of high value crops. So we have various states, various regions with rabi and kharif crop growing in variety of seasons. So India has diverse climate, so it can be harnessed to grow wide range of high value crops. Jatropha and jojoba oil is produced from the seed of the jatropha fruit. All right, so a plant that can grow in wasteland. Jatropha can grow in wasteland across India, and the oil is considered to be an excellent source of biodiesel. So, large plots of wasteland have been selected for jatropha cultivation, and will provide much needed employment to the rural poor of India. This is happening in the state of Rajasthan. Agriculture, with its allied sector, is unquestionably the largest livelihood provider in India, more so in vast rural areas. It also contributes a significant figure to the gross domestic product. Sustainable agriculture in terms of food security, rural employment, and environmentally sustainable technologies such as soil conservation, sustainable natural resource management, and biodiversity protection are essential for holistic rural development. This is how we can develop our agricultural sector. Here we come to the end of the chapter. I have attached a table of all the food crops, non-food crops to this particular chapter. Please prepare such a table where you will incorporate all the food grains, all the crops which are present in our chapter so that it becomes easy to remember and understand.